Yo, 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 what is good? What is up, my lovely, beautiful guys, gals, non binary pals? It's amazing to be back in your ear, loving on your mind today. It's always an honor, especially today, because I have a little bit more of a curated and long awaited solution today. Because with me still being in the season of dating, talking about relationships, and just how to connect more authentically with others, there's problems that come about with that, right? This whole connecting with people thing sounds easier than it really is, you know? And it was a problem that I recognized that came up for me recently of communication. You know, people always say that communication is the key, but then I found that no key works by itself. So I came up with some solutions to help us solve problems a little bit better and have more of a structured framework on how we can connect more authentically together. So let's talk about it. I'm excited. This is long awaited. I've introduced this topic just to a few of my close friends, and they like, yo, this is life changing. You need to talk about it. So I'm on here. Let's get it. But first, I want to start off with 3 nice, deep, slow, relaxing breaths. Get us charged up, get us fired up, but also get us grounded so we can digest what's being put down, okay? So these 3 breaths, I want to inhale for 3 seconds, exhale throughout our mouth for 3 seconds, no holding, just in and out. You ready? You ready? Let's crack some bones real quick. Shake out whatever you need to shake out. Let it go. 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 Okay. All right. Let's get it. I'm going to snap. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Big exhale. Breath of life right there. So grateful that we always keep that practice going. It's beautiful. Don't you feel nice? Don't you feel beautiful? You should, because you already are, right? So back to what I want to talk about today, which is first, how did this dawn on me? I want to give a little bit more of a backstory on how I came up with the concept of the 3 C's, right? And it was because, you know, people always say communication is key. And honestly, throughout my life, I've had some things come up with like people pleasings, and I don't always say what I really want to say or what I truly mean, because I'm always taking into consideration about others and how they're feeling, which I've learned is just repression. You know, it's not benefiting anyone for me to be timid and not really say what I really want to express. So I've did a whole episode on this. Like, you guys are literally watching my evolution in real time. It's just me documenting my evolution of self. And it's so beautiful how I do it, because you learn so much about yourself when you connect with others. Like, you see so many reflections, so many parts of yourself that maybe you really have been longing to see, that you've been not wanting to see, that you've been hiding from, that you've been, you know, shoving in the back in the corner, or that you really want to see more of. And throughout the season of dating and relationships that I've been doing, I've talked about things like where I learned how I was abandoning myself and sacrificing myself for others, which really wasn't beneficial for me. It wasn't helping me. So when I learned that those patterns were coming up, where I was just abandoning myself just to please someone else, holding down what I want to say, what I want to do, just because I'm trying to be so accommodating to another person, then I started to take that in, and I really started to acclimate and activate my communication. And so I went out there again, started dating with this new self-awareness of, okay, I'm not going to abandon myself anymore. I'm going to speak my truth, right? And then I started doing that. And then I still noticed that things weren't changing. And then this dawned on me. And I can't take all the credit because spirit is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful source of downloads and information that I believe I just was able to channel this and to bring it to you like this. But when I realized that I was communicating, yet things still weren't being solved, the 3 C's came to me. So communication is key. Yes. But as stated, no key works by itself. If someone handed you a key right now and was like, yo, here's the key to life, what you gonna do with that? You're gonna have so many questions, right? You're gonna be like, where's this key for? Who does it belong to? Where's the door, right? Because we need a door, we need a lock. And we also need a motion to activate that key to unlock the door. So that's when the 3 C's dawned on me, right? So knowing that you need a key, but no key works by itself, what else do you need? You need a door. You need a padlock. What's the key going to go into? And also you need a force to activate it. So if communications is the key, comprehension is the door. And compassionate integration is the force that unlocks the door. What do I mean by that? Hold up, let me cook. Let me break it down for you real quick, right? If you're communicating all day, right, but no one is comprehending what you're saying, boom, that key is not going to work. Because if no one's comprehending, understanding what you're saying, it's like you're talking to a wall. No one's going to feel heard. Nothing's going to get changed. Comprehension is the door. Now we have a place for the key to go. Now communication is having a place to go. We have direction. But what really activates this communication along with comprehension is compassionate integration. Why do I say compassionate integration? I say that because it's a difference between doing something out of obligation versus doing something because you truly want to. Because you truly want to do it. It hits different, right? Because imagine if you're complaining to someone, or not even complaining, but just voicing your concerns on how you feel about something. Like, it can be as simple as taking out the trash. You know, you got a housemate, you got a partner, you're like, yo, hey, I want you to take out the trash. You've been late on the last couple of trash days. I thought we had the roles, you know, because I'm busy on Saturdays. Trash man comes on Saturdays. Can you make sure you get the trash out on time? Because I don't like it being all stinky up in here. Now, if your partner is listening, right, comprehending, and it's like, okay, you know what? I understand what you're saying. And you know what? I'm going to do that because I want this house to smell good too, and I don't want trash to be piling up. That's how we start to solve problems. But imagine if in the same scenario, you're communicating, and they're like, yeah, I hear you, but man, I guess I'll do it. They're doing it with the attitude. They're doing it just because out of obligation. Now it feels like all that communication that you just did it wasn't even truly heard. It wasn't even truly coming from a good place. They're not doing it because, like, oh yeah, they like really wanted to understand and hear you out and you know, cater to what you're saying. They're doing it out of obligation. There's some more better examples I think I can come up with, but I just wanted to introduce this topic because I've noticed that there are so many challenges that we can face on a day-to-day basis when it comes with connecting with humans of all kinds, not just dating, relationships of any kind, friendships, business relationships, partnerships, family, friends, whatever, you know. We people are interesting. We're quite an interesting species. Every day I'm on this earth and I just, you know, I'm like, wow, humans are interesting. We're really interesting. And so, of course, there's going to be challenges that come up with anybody. We all have different perspectives and viewpoints, and I don't ever think of it like this person is right, this person is wrong. I'm not so hard and heavy into this binary perspective of right and wrong when it comes to people, because we all have so many factors that come up with us. How did we grow up plays a huge part into it. What is our day-to-day thinking like? What are we usually doing? Our habits, what has shaped us over our lifetime? We only see a glimpse of that when we start to meet people, and we unlock a little bit more the more that we get to know them. So when you think about it like that, it really puts into perspective all these emotions and all these moving parts that are going on, that really just makes connecting even more interesting, right? And so I don't believe there's ever been a framework that's been presented like this, to where we can learn one another and really start to solve problems better. Because don't we have a whole lot of them in this world? But there's so much more that goes deeper into this topic, because it's not only a two-party system, right? It starts with yourself. Communication is multidimensional, because we have so much communication going on in so many different ways, right? First, it's about your internal dialogue. Before you even open up your vocal cords to express something, things come through in thoughts, or sometimes they just come through in channels. When you just get so much into the flow state where it's like you're not even thinking about your words, but you're just activating the chord that is coming down from the unknown, from source, from spirit, from God, whatever energy that you like to announce it or pronounce it as. That energy is directly flowing through you, tapping into your source, and then being expressed through your vocal cords. Or sometimes we do have to have conversations where we really think about something, and then we allow ourselves to communicate, whether that's in noises, grunts, moans, or words. And we have body language. So when we talk about, first, the art of communication, we have to understand that there's different kinds of communication that happens on different ways in different realms, right? So I notice myself, when I'm becoming more aware of this whole communication thing, not only does it allow me to have more awareness, but allows me to have more empathy, especially when I'm communicating with someone else. Because look at all these factors we're presented with, and now bring that into sharing that with someone else, right? We don't know what someone is thinking. We don't know what could be going on with them. People have so much repressed anger, or just whatever that they're going through. The world right now is crazy. They probably have a million thoughts and ideas running through their minds every day. So now, when we're talking about communicating effectively with someone, and in order to truly solve problems, not only does it make us more aware, now it allows us to truly understand communication, what it is, how it is expressed, and what that could mean. So now that we're taking into consideration all these different parts of communication, it leads me back to the source of where it's coming from, especially if we're talking about we want to connect and communicate more authentically with someone else. It starts with you, the core. We're bringing in another C, the core of you. Because it doesn't even matter sometimes how you may articulate something. You can say a whole lot of nothing real nice, or you can say a lot of truth with very little words. I really fuck with Jesus in the Bible, because I love when people speak in parables, they don't say too much, but it says a whole lot. you know. And in the Bible, it was a lot of that. It was a lot of these parables and these ways that of articulation and communication that was going on, where the truth of the message was very prominent, but the length and the articulation of it wasn't too complex, right? So for me, what's been helping me to communicate more effectively now is getting in touch with my core, with my truth, without hiding, without judging, with just having awareness. Truly, I've been tapping in more into my shadow self. There's a beautiful book, it's called Hacking by Shaman Durek. I think I've talked about it before. That book really helps me activate so many powers because it's written by a shaman that not only gives those spiritual and metaphysical terms and ideologies, but also gives practical tips on how to integrate those into your life. And one of the spirit hacks that he has is working with your shadow self, like literally having a page, drawing a line down the middle, and writing down questions for your shadow self. Like, shadow, how do I really feel about going to this event tomorrow with this person? Or whatever questions that you may have for your shadow self. Because when you address your shadow doesn't lie to you. Your shadow is going to be the most authentic and real version of you ever, because it knows everything about you. Even those parts that you may want to hide, your shadow is that. It's not hiding. So addressing your shadow in questions, writing it down on one side of the paper, and then allowing your shadow to answer and you writing it down on the other side really helps give a clear depiction and unfiltered perspective as well on what's really going on, right? So when I've been tapping into more of my shadow side and just embracing all of those parts of me, it's helped me to see that there's no judgment here. There's really no judgment here. And I've learned to stop using so many labels and terms that fixate on judgment. Even some emotions, sometimes that come up, I want to name them and say, oh, I feel angry, I feel mad, I feel jealous. But really, the more that I practice this, and this is also another tip that he gives, which is the more that I practice this, which is another tip that he gives of not labeling, the more that I start to name what is actually happening in my body. Like, instead of saying I feel angry, I start to say, oh, I feel tension in my shoulders. I feel hot in my face. I'm feeling vibrations in my hip area. Things start to go on where emotions are felt, internally, and then we can communicate those. And so when I've been learning to integrate this more of a non-labeling and non-judgmental perspective of self, I feel like it's helped me a lot with learning how to communicate that with others. Because not only is it helping me be free, but it's also helping me to be understood more, because I'm not going into communications and conversations with this intention of attacking someone. I'm just going in there, expressing my truth and saying how I really feel, coming straight from me. I want to bring up an example is with my little sister, because kids teach you a lot. They teach you a lot. And for context, she's 8 years old, by the way. So I'm living in Asia. She's living in the States, right? So we're doing some long distance siblingship right now. And I still want to be a part of her life and everything. So I call her all the time. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, man, little lady, she don't ever call me. My little sister, I'm always calling her. I'm like, I started thinking, I'm like, man, she don't ever think about me. Like, want to check on her big brother or nothing. And I remember one day I was talking to her while she was on the way to school. And I was like, I kind of felt some kind of way. I'm like, man, you don't never call me, and I be feeling like, you don't love me, kind of being a bit dramatic. And then she got mad at me, and she didn't want to talk no more. And I was like, no, like, we gonna talk. Like, why are you mad at me? Like, I'm expressing how I feel. She was like, cause you doing all that, talking about something. I don't love you. I don't ever call you. Like, I do love you. And, sometimes I think you be busy. And, it made me reflect. It made me reflect because how I was coming at that was more of an attack. My little sister, she felt attacked because I was projecting on her. I was like, oh, you don't call me. I don't feel love. And then when I look back at it, I apologized. And I said, you know what, Layla, you're right. There's a lot of factors going on here. We had a 13-hour time zone difference. I know sometimes mom got the phone. She don't even got a phone. Sometimes she do be thinking about me, but maybe she just like, oh, well, maybe Monty's busy right now. So after that, I reflected and I was like, you know what? I could have, said that a little bit differently. That didn't make you mad. Like just saying, oh, Layla, like I miss you and I would like to talk to you more. And I would love if you, called me a little bit more. Your big brother's just feeling like I really miss you and I really want to talk to you. Could you work on calling me a little bit more? I want to hear from you more. She was like, yeah. And she's been calling me. And it's been very sweet and very endearing. Because I know she wants to talk to me. And she really does love me. And I learned how to better communicate that day. To be comprehended. And to have that compassionate integration. So now it's really great because me and my little sister are talking more. I'm getting to know more about her and what she's doing, what's going on in her little head. And it's been bringing me a lot of joy. So that's an instance that I've learned to communicate a little bit better with family and even friends and all that. I feel like this should be a program and taught in schools because we're not really taught how to communicate. We're taught words. We're taught how to, how to talk. But not really a lot of effective communication. So I just wanted to introduce this subject as an idea and as a topic into the world because I want to invite more collaboration into I want to start using this framework. I want to give other people this knowledge that I've been gifted of using the 3 C's, of learning the core of communication, of learning the core of comprehension, which works both ways, right? You have to understand what you are truly wanting, what you are truly wanting to vocalize and communicate. Just like the example with my little sister. Instead of saying, oh, hey, you don't ever call me, what I really wanted to say is, Layla, I want to talk to you more. And I just wanted her to compassionately integrate those calls into my life because I wanted to hear from her more. So understanding the 3 C's, those concepts of the 3 C's, communication, comprehension, and compassionate integration are 3 building blocks to life that I think will help us all in so many ways. I just wanted to introduce this to you. I feel like there's going to be a lot more podcasts and episodes and work around this subject because to me it has been quite phenomenal and a beautiful idea to keep in mind and memory. So I want you to write this down before this episode ends. The 3 C's. I'm going to call it the Monty method. Write it down. Number 1, communication. Internal dialogue and learning how to express what you truly feel without judgment. Number 2, Comprehension. Gaining an understanding of what you are wanting to express without judgment or blame. That works both ways. And number 3, compassionate integration. Action step solutions made with love and kindness. It's all about the heart, baby. I'm always going to lead you back to the heart because it's Amani's infinite love. Because guess what? You have Amani's infinite love on Amani's infinite love. Guys, thank y'all so much for joining me in this amazing conversation today. I feel like we had a beautiful, compassionate, and lovely communication right there. Like, this is literally the 3 C's in action. Not only was I communicating my thoughts and ideas without judgment of saying, oh, hey, you have to communicate the 3 C's, but it's like, yo, I want to share the subject of the 3 C's because it has been such a life-changing perspective for me, and I want to share that, and I want to help people who want to start making solutions to all these problems that we have. I'm comprehending. You're comprehending. Now it's up to you to compassionately integrate the lessons of the 3 C's, right? You want some more solutions, right? Tapping all into the love energy, all into the love frequency. Check out infiniteinlove.com to tap more in tune with your heart, baby. Back to self. And also a little bit more guidance to helping you go within is on my website, infiniteinlove.com. I have some poetry books, really gets you in tune with that love energy and frequency. Liquid Love is what it's called. Cop it now. It's available in 3 different countries. It's all about the journey of love. I've literally documented it in such a poetic way. Would love for you to check it out, write a review, and just get in tune with your heart, man. Also, I got some affirmations to hype up the energies of self, to hype up the energies of wealth, of love, of all that you may be desiring and manifesting and working on right now. Don't forget to use the power of the tongue. I got an affirmations book available now on my website as well, completely free. Also, I have some guideposts to help you on your journey of self and heart activation, baby, because this is Amani's infinite love. And because I'm gifting you with the energies of infinite love, I want to help you embody that energy in everything you do. So infiniteinlove.com. Visit it. We also got some frequencies. Tap into the powers and the portals that I'm setting out here, filled with amazing beats and some magical frequencies. infiniteinlove.com. Infinite love to you. Thank you so much for joining me in today's beautiful conversation. You have Amani's infinite love on Amani's infinite love. Infinite love, my people. Mwah. Namaste.